Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, just allow feelings of stress or worry or tension to feel like it's leaving your body in your outward breath. As you breathe in, just breathe in a wonderful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, with your eyes closed, give permission to your mind, your body, to fully relax. That's it. Notice that as you do relax, your breathing gets slower, your outward breath gets longer, and you start to realize that you're becoming deeper and deeper relaxed. As your body relaxes, your mind awakens. And a part of your mind that really awakens is your imagination. Your imagination can be a source of excitement and wonder, or terror and dread. But let's use your own imagination to change your relationship with anxiety, to have it help you rather than hinder you. As you breathe in and breathe out, just feel like you're sinking downwards, feeling deeper and deeper relaxed, relaxing the muscles in your neck, your shoulders, arms and legs feeling limp, loose and heavy. That's it, eyelids feeling heavier and heavier and heavier. That's it, feeling deeper and deeper relaxed. And I want you to imagine you're in a strange house that you've never been before. And I want you to imagine you're in a big hall filled with a grid of square-like tiles in front of you. And just imagine there's a voice heard from above. All you have to do is to pass the hall, get to the other end, and untold riches will be yours. And you're about to walk, but then the voice continues. At least a quarter of these squares are trapdoors that will take you to your instant death. And I want you to notice how easy it would be to sacrifice untold wealth and untold riches to have the certainty of survival. And for a while now, that's the game that your mind has been playing, believing that at any moment something outside of your control could happen that could lead to a negative consequence. But what if there weren't any trapdoors? And you just believed there were trapdoors? You would act exactly as if there were trapdoors. And I want you to think back to those key moments in your life where you acted as if there was a trapdoor ready to drop. And perhaps there was no trapdoor whatsoever. I want you to think inwards and to start picturing your bowels, your gut, as like a trapdoor that could be triggered by something outside of your control that suddenly lets out all of the contents. If that were true, wouldn't you have to go to the toilet so many times to kind of empty? So if your trapdoor did open, there's nothing to leave. Wouldn't you have to constantly worry and think about toilets wherever they are? But what if it was never a trapdoor? As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to start changing that image of a trapdoor right there in your bowels to a locked chest. Maybe like one of those old-fashioned chests that pirates used to hide their treasure. Or perhaps the kind of chest that the aristocracy used to take with them on grand adventures around the world. But I want you to see a robust-looking lock that requires a big heavy key. And I want you to imagine there is a locked chest in that same grand hall. And try as you might, you can't open the chest. The only way the chest is opening is if the holder of the key unlocks the chest and chooses to open it. And I want you to notice that there is a key around your neck on a chain. It was always there, you just didn't notice. And that same chest that was impossible to open becomes easy to open simply because you chose to open it. It's the intention that decides if the contents of that chest ever leave. And as you start to imagine your bowels like a locked chest to which only you have the key, I want you to get a sense of deep confidence that the only way your bowels will empty is if you choose to unlock them. And if your unconscious accepts, then just let me know by nodding your head. Now I want you to imagine the garden of this strange grand house. I want you to see children throwing water balloons at each other. I want you to see that they throw the water balloon, and the moment it hits perhaps the head or the back of a child, it immediately bursts. It doesn't take too much for that water balloon to dispose of its contents. And the kids are laughing and joking, running around. And I want you to get an idea that perhaps for a while now, you've been acting as if your bladder is as delicate as a water balloon. Perhaps not realizing that the original footballs were made from a sheep's bladder. They were able to be kicked by lots and lots of big men with big boots, and yet the ball or the bladder never burst. So it makes sense to start thinking of your own bladder as much stronger and more robust than you ever thought it was. No longer a delicate water balloon. And as you imagine it turning into a pretty vase, your confidence grows that whatever you want to keep in that bladder stays in that bladder. You can even imagine that pretty vase fused with golden thread, making it even stronger. And notice that as you do so, confidence in your ability to go to the toilet only when you choose to becomes stronger and stronger. And I wonder what would happen if you imagined almost like a metal container with a valve. The contents will only be released if the valve is pushed, and only you have the ability to push it. Or you could think of something flexible but incredibly strong. Maybe it's a water balloon, but not made of delicate plastic. Maybe Kevlar that creates bulletproof vests. And as you imagine your bladder as strong and impenetrable, and your bowels as a locked chest to which you only hold the key, I want you to get a growing sense of confidence in your body, and a willingness to allow you to trust your own intuition. So I want you to be open to ideas about how your intuition can work for you. As you embrace the natural rhythms of your body, deciding that you can trust in your intuition to guide you towards the right moments for relieving yourself. You could imagine a calm and serene river flowing within you, carrying away any worries or anxieties about needing to use the restroom. I want you to visualize a confident version of your future self standing tall and at ease. Maybe you can see that person in a long queue at an airport, supermarket. I want you to see that future version of you entirely comfortable and secure, knowing that your body's signals are again reliable. Give permission to your body to establish the kind of communication where a deep sense of trust can be established. Allow your body to communicate clearly and effectively when it's time to use the toilet. And you could feel a newfound sense of empowerment as you release any fears of not finding a toilet quickly, knowing that you have the ability to handle any situation calmly. And you get to test this in your own life, in your own home. Just measure how long you have between when you think you have to go and when you actually have to go, realizing that quite often there is an hour or two longer than you ever thought possible. And you can train your inner voice or voices to be a reassuring and supportive ally, providing you with gentle guidance and encouragement whenever you need it. Perhaps you can imagine a supportive assistant giving you thoughts and advice. Imagine the location of that assistance. But you can also imagine a former critical part now being a miniature cheerleader, still wanting you to raise your standards, but doing it in the cutest and sweetest way possible. Maybe you have a name for that cheerleader. Maybe you have a location for that cheerleader, and just imagine what they would look like and what their voice would sound like. And imagine whenever they're trying to be critical, they just sound like your biggest cheerleader, encourager, and supporter. And think about all of those situations that used to be a problem. Picture yourself walking confidently through various scenarios, feeling a sense of calm and control regardless of the availability of any toilet. Embrace the concept of freedom in your body's signals, understanding that your body communicates its needs to you in a trustworthy and timely manner, but it needs help in guiding what is true and what is not. And you can feel a surge of self-assurance as you release any past anxieties and worries, stepping into that future where you confidently navigate any toilet situation. Affirm your capability to handle any toilet concerns with grace and confidence, knowing that you have the inner strength to manage them effectively. And you can envision your intuition as a guiding light, that with practice and feedback and coaching, perhaps a traffic light system, false alarms are red, go if you can are amber, and if you really, really need to go, then maybe it does need to be a green. But you'll be surprised at how many times you thought you had to go with just a red or an amber light, meaning you had plenty of time to do what you needed to do. And you can cultivate a deep sense of relaxation within your body, because sometimes the tension and the anxiety were actually the cause of the problem that you were trying to avoid. So you can feel a profound sense of inner peace as you release those anxious thoughts, allowing them to flow away into the past. You can picture yourself moving through your daily activities with confidence and ease, knowing that your intuition is your reliable compass for when you actually need to go to the toilet. I want you to scan your body as you experience a transformation from within yourself. Your cheerleader and their location. Imagine your bowels being like a locked chest. Your bladder being this impenetrable, ultra-strong vessel, only releasing liquid when you decide. So experience that transformation. Transitioning from anxiety to confidence, and embrace the power of your mind and intuition working in harmony, allowing you to approach any toiletry needs with a calm and composed demeanor, no matter the circumstances. Your overall mantra is, "I'll be fine, I've got this. I can handle this situation." And in doing so, you create the very circumstances to make that true. I want you to see that same hall with that grid of all of those squares, and accept that on the other end of the hall is not untold riches. It's the future you deserve, a future of freedom, of trusting your intuition. And just tell yourself there are no trapdoors, and feel yourself confidently walking across the hall. No deviations, no directions, walk in a straight line. And as you get to the other side, that is a commitment to your new identity, that you can trust your intuition, and you can do more than you ever think you can. When you reach the other side and embrace that new identity, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. These are the untold riches, a future of freedom. And as you embrace that future, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Feel like you're returning to the present. That's it. And very soon I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, confident, motivated, willing to figure out what is true and what is not true, and willing to trust your intuition, proportionate to your ability to coach them, to help you rather than hinder you. Starting to count 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.